Call the regular meeting to order at 7:01 and have Bob Ness lead us in the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Motion of the Board of Mayor and Burgess to approve the minutes of the special meeting of January 2nd, 2025, and the regular meeting of January 7th, 2025. Each member received copies for review.
Second the motion.
All right, any questions or discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion of the Board of Mayor and Burgess to approve the monthly reports of January. Each member received copies for review.
Second the motion.
All right, questions or discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, I'm gonna just start off the meeting with one piece of very good news that we just received. As you probably read in the paper, well, it didn't say Nordic Coast, but Waterbury lost 5 brownfield grants. We lost 3, Bristol lost 1, Shelton lost 1, and someone else lost 1. And the money was actually taken from the COG accounts. Well, the good news is that today it was restored, and at least as of now, we have not had any adverse funding problems on the federal side. So I feel a lot better about it today than I did for a couple of days. So we just monitor it all the time, and we keep our eye on the ball. But to me, it was a great piece of news because we lost our 350,000 at Industrial Park 3, 300,000 downtown, and about 100-something thousand on Rubber Avenue where Blossoms is for that project. So it's all back in place, and we, Naugatuck Valley COG, is making efforts to protect it. So I was very happy about that. So you don't have to worry about what you're able to do. I'm going to go straight to public comment. There's no prediction tonight on the length of the meeting, so we'll see what happens.
That sounds ominous.
We're going to let destiny take its course. All right. Having said that, we will now open it up for public comment. Anyone in the room or on Zoom that would like to make a public comment, if you would. If you're on Zoom, raise your hand or somehow make it known you'd like to speak, then Lee, our IT whiz, will hook you up. So is there anyone that would like to make a public comment? Lee? All right, I'm going to have a last call. Is there anyone that would like to make a public comment? All right, hearing none, we will move to item 7 and a monthly report from Naugatuck Ambulance Corps, Kyle Kelly.
Good evening, everyone. I sent out some information a few days back. This year started out pretty busy, 438 calls, 40 mutual aid calls. So we hit the ground running this year. I also sent you folks out a couple of reports that I put together just highlighting what our hopeful future looks like and how we want to expand a little bit, as well as some of our accomplishments over these last couple of years. So some reading material for you, some stuff I'm sure you already know. I'm sure there's some new things also. So we're eager to get going in the new year. The assisted living facility, I believe, is eager to get going and open up in the next couple of months. So we're looking forward to that. We're growing. So I entertain any questions, comments, or concerns. I do I apologize. I did meet with the mayor, the finance department, as well as we had a board meeting this past yesterday. We have a budget put together that's been submitted. So look forward to meeting with you folks on that.
Right. Any questions for Kyle or comments?
Yes.
Okay, we will go to item 8. A proposed modification to our 5-year road improvement plan. And Lee, if you could please put up on Zoom the townwide map of Naugatuck. I'll be explaining this together with 2 other exhibits that have been handed out. The plan for the next 5 years, each Burgess should have that, and some numbers that go with it. And I'm going to make some introductory comments, but we also have with us Jim Stewart, who is available to speak and take questions. Jeremy Lennon, the guy out there that gets it all done and has intimate knowledge about every road in Naugatuck. And also, someone you haven't met before, but I wanted her to come tonight because she's working with us all the time, doing a great job. Michelle Taylor is part of the team. I thought you should see her because her name's coming up a lot. She's doing great. So thank you. So when we look at the map that is on the screen and that you have before you, the first thing to note is that I want you to look at what's in pink and green, because what is in pink and green are streets that have been paved or micro-paved in Naugatuck since 2017, when we started our much more intense road paving plan. Prior to 2017, Naugatuck had been spending $300,000 or less a year on paving, and Naugatuck was also using its LoSiP and Town Road Aid money not for road paving, but for buying salt or building catch basins with outside contractors. So in 2017, we as a town made a concerted effort to turn our street department into a real construction crew that started doing construction work, building catch basins that enabled us to use that money to pave roads. So we began spending more right off the bat without any additional town dollars. And we also changed our policy for billing outside contractors, and we started charging them for paving entire roads rather than just making repairs. Also, we started incrementally increasing the amount of money that we spend each year on road paving. So from 2017 until right now, everything in pink and the shade of green at the top has been completed. And as you can see, you know, it's extensive. And for those who want to know, and I'll let Jim expand on it a little further, you know, we don't pick the roads, you know, randomly. There's a few factors that go into it, but one of the most important one is road ratings. All of our roads are rated, and, you know, we try and do the worst ones first. Sometimes utility companies could make us modify our plan somewhat if they're installing a new gas line. We may expedite that street and have the utility company pay for that street. But for the most part, we try to take the roads on based on the condition that they're in. So what we have and what I've presented to you tonight is, first of all, the map showing what we've done, and then we've also color coded our plan to finish the entire town in the next 5 years. And that will include 3 million a year or more on road paving. So 3 million is a consistent number. So we've been paving 10 times more roads per year since 2017 than in the past, and we are making good progress. So we've also included a sheet for the next 5 years. So we have in your packets, it's not on Zoom. So those on Zoom will have to look at the color coding, but we do have an exhibit where the roads that are going to be done in 25, 26 are on page 1. You know, it breaks them down anywhere from micro paving to a mill and pave to a complete reclamation, which is, you know, complete do-over for the worst roads. So you can see that our plan is extensive. Now note, these are the roads that we're doing at the street department. It doesn't include lots of projects where, for example, Rubber Avenue, North Main Street was a lots of project, Spring Street. So the roads in our 5-year plan are what we're doing with the town money that we put in, with the town road aid money, with our LoCIP. Now, LoCIP is not LoCIP. LoCIP, we got about 500,000 a year that they used to use on maintenance. We now use it on paving and the money we get from the utilities. So we're spending about 3 million a year now on road paving, and we are also doing our LoCIP projects, the bigger projects. And you know, like right now, I have no idea what we're spending this year, because in addition to our 3 million, we're doing all of downtown Naugatuck and 12 billion for Rubber Avenue. So last year and this year, or this year, I should say, the next fiscal year will be the most amount of paving that we've ever accomplished. So we have this plan here for the Burgesses, for the public. We approve it every year. It can be modified. You know, maybe there's a street that, you know, should be done in year 4 instead of year 5, and you know, people can make their arguments. We look at everything, and also I want you to take note of the numbers. The sheet, I think the line most relevant as we head into budget season is the line, it's called Town Annual Funding, where this year we'll be putting into the budget, in the general fund, 1,300,000. And we plan to increase that, as shown here, every year, going up to 20, 30, 31, 1,750,000, at which time we think we will have hit every street. So we're committed to that. We've stayed right with it since 2017, and we intend, or at least I intend, to make sure we stay with it, and I think everyone agrees. So you can also see LoCIP money that we had, town road aid that we had, you know, utility. Jim doesn't, you know, those utilities happen periodically, yearly, even a couple times a year, so we don't have it. So we're spending over 3 million a year, contrasted with 300,000 in the past, and we're making a lot of projects. So I thought it would be appropriate to give this to the Burgesses and make it available to the public. And, you know, I'm sure there are some straggler roads on here that aren't listed. And what we do, and Jeremy can expound on this, when we go to a neighborhood and we're there, and there's a small road that, you know, didn't really get picked up or we missed it, well, we do the road when we're there. And we've been taking care of a lot of, I'll call them straggler roads. So, you know, if someone sits there and says, hey, my road's not on here, well, we have an idea. We're more geared towards neighborhoods, going into a neighborhood and taking care of the whole neighborhood. So I'm gonna ask Jim to add or subtract from anything I said.
No,
Come up to where we can see you on Zoom.
what the mayor was just saying about neighborhoods, it's important. Obviously, Jeremy likes to do a neighborhood not only because we like to cover the neighborhood, it also saves us a bunch of money with the paving and milling contractors. Because when they're required to relocate, the milling contractor actually charges us to relocate under the state bid. And we are able to keep the paving number down with the bidding, and they know they're gonna be very efficient.
You also don't wanna leave that street on island. If you're in a neighborhood, okay, that street.
Because you're not gonna be back
That's
there
the
for a
time to
while.
get it. So.
The other thing, is fees in lieu. We've been very aggressive with that. Obviously, we've had a lot of construction in town. And we met with the gas company actually today, and they informed us on the good side that their last replacement is scheduled for next year, Warren Avenue. Unfortunately, that's their last replacement for bare steel. So we don't know whether they don't have any plans to come back for a while. I'm sure there's gonna be other replacements. The water company is still working, so we're gonna see less construction in town, but we're gonna see less fee and loop from the gas company in the future.
I think the gas company kind of stopped looking out as far as they were, because they weren't sure, but it sounded like they were kind of going a different direction.
Well, they've got other towns. They've been so happy working here that they focused a lot of their work in August.
Logitech should be the only town they're looking at.
Okay, also in the future, we're gonna need to, as we pave more roads, we wanna keep them in decent shape by crack sealing and micro paving or the thin paving we put down. So after this program is done, we're gonna probably have to increase the amount of micro paving that we're doing. So that we can maintain the roads rather than just letting it fall apart again. And then Jeremy's also been great in increasing the number of roads he's been rebuilding. Because what we've been seeing is the main roads in low spots that get wet and don't have good drainage, they fall apart much faster than they should. So Jeremy's been great in adding new drainage and under drains and actually rebuilding the entire road. He did Church Street here and Webb Road he did last year, so.
Example of that coming up probably.
You know, in older years, we would have just said, hey, we only have $250,000. We can't spend it all on one section of road. So you pave it and then 5 years later, it's in the same condition.
Also, to add on what the mayor was saying, they were spending that money where you're gonna do a mill and pave, you wanna mill at least 2 inches off. There were times in the past before, they were only milling an inch off and putting an inch on. And an inch just doesn't hold up, so you lost a lot in that sense to asphalt that went down.
And then the other thing is you think we factored it in here, but we're expecting an increase in our asphalt costs.
Yes.
Coach Hill has been really good to us. They've held the number for a long time. It's way below what other towns are paying around us. Hopefully we won't be that high, but we're right now talking to him and see if there's a number that he proposes or if we have to go out to bid again and see where that puts us.
We think it'll go up a little, but still be well below everybody else. We're not sure how he gets the numbers, but we're not asking questions.
One thing, so I don't forget, Lee, could you please put this map and these 5 charts for the next 5 years on the borough website.
Yeah, we'll get you finalized versions once they're approved.
That'd be great. I was gonna ask that question because now the ignorant people who don't think that we've done any paving in Naugatuck can actually go on the site and take a look at what the hell we've done.
We've done a lot, and I think the key to what the mayor's saying, there are still stragglers out there that are gonna have to get addressed and in there, but there's stuff to head down.
And we do have a contingency line item, as you can see, so if there's a road that pops up or goes bad early, we have some money, or curbs need to be replaced, or there's some strange thing we don't know about, you've got that covered.
Would that be something like the other night, was the pipe work, was it Millville?
That's a different example of that. We just paved that road, so that goes back to not quite the fee and lieu, but our RSR ratings of the road. So that being just paved, the water company's gonna have to do a full mill and pave of that section of the road because the condition is so good. And so there's tiers to, if our road's not that good, they do a full depth pad.
Right.
If we just paved it and the rating is still good, they have to do
You
a
gotta
full.
curb to curb.
Right,
Yeah.
so,
Sometime.
yeah. Chase everybody a little bit, and it's a full-time job. but-
Quick question. My road, for an example, built in 1988. You guys micro paved it, I wanna say, I don't know, maybe 6 years ago?
But-
I think it was like 3 years ago.
You have, it's
Not-
right here.
No, not his neighborhood.
City Hill.
City Hill was.
City Hill was done, but City Brook Road.
Yeah.
My question is, over that time period, I've noticed that we start having cracks in the road. At what point do you actually come out and say, okay, maybe we ought to fill these cracks before we get to the next point? I don't know.
The big thing about micro paving
Yeah.
is it cracks but doesn't pop. So you can kind of leave the cracks. I'm not a big proponent on just spending money on crack sealing because I don't see it holding that road together. I think the answer is when it comes to that time, before it gets to that point, crack seal and micro pave again.
Yeah.
Or you get to a point where you get back to a mill and pave. But I think it's not just a crack seal, it needs to be a crack seal.
When you looked in the cracks, is there any seal below it? Because what we do is,
I haven't gone out with a microphone.
you gotta go out there, let me know.
I really haven't got my goggles.
Well, when
analyzed.
before it's done, we crack seal those cracks, and apparently those cracks just reflect through after a couple of years. But hopefully that crack seal is in there, but yes, we have gone back and re-crack sealed, so.
Yeah, the micro paving has held up extremely well.
Yeah.
Well, we don't have your road back on the micro paving list, although it's something that, we've gotta start doing more of.
I'm not worried about it because once I see there's an issue,
You're gonna call.
I will call. That's all.
I'll put you on the list.
No, we haven't done that.
We haven't been to the point of, in our program, we've done the micro on top of micro yet, but that is part of the possible process.
Seems reasonable
Yeah.
if the base is still really
If the
good.
base is good,
Yeah.
but it kind of goes back to what we're saying, so you gotta check on some bases, that part of the problem.
And for the micro paving, what we've done is we programmed the next 2 years, 2 or 3 years. And then we kind of just put a number in, because we're not sure where we'll be, what roads will need it. For the micro paving.
Oh, for the micro.
Does the micro paving cost fluctuate annually because of the oil prices?
It does, but not significantly.
Not as much as the asphalt.
It's a few dollars.
Okay.
All right, so, any, questions or comments?
I found down there, it's light green. I never saw anybody come by, but I could have been looking.
Donovan Court?
Yeah.
But Donovan Court would be a good example of where we just had to do Maple Hill, and we're talking about, stuff that might need to get added on, and to add on top of it, like a Costco lane, a counselor. Like with that, those are times we can look at it from Maple Hill, hey, now might be the time to do Donovan Court, Costco, and so those are the things that we're moving around constantly, that's why we would say it's.
That's why we come back every year.
Yeah, I mean, the main thing stays the same, but it certainly is fluid, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
All right,
Thank you.
Andreas. Give us a report on what's gonna happen, with the Hearst, group on Thursday. How does that impact you and coverage and audit?
I'll still be covering Naugatuck as much as I am now. Can't say the same for the other two towns. I'll be covering a little bit more of Litchfield County, but I still will be your main guy for Naugatuck, so.
Nice.
Okay, and, I got some, you missed, I got some, documents for you that we'll give you, later on, okay?
Okay, I appreciate it.
Okay, anyone want to say anything further? All right, facade improvement subcommittee. So we're now at the point where we're going to, what I want to do is have a group that will include some Burgesses, some people from the building office, someone from land use, and have a working committee to evaluate, start taking applications and evaluating them to make sure they comply with our facade improvement ordinance and begin the process of moving forward. So as you recall, we set aside $300,000 from our tax incremental financing, and we're at the point now where we can start taking applications. So I'm looking for a, Megan, I think you're on it.
Yep.
But we're looking for a group of volunteers. And we're gonna have, I'm gonna say the building inspector's office, we're gonna have to evaluate the technical aspects of the applications. And then we need some people to look at aesthetics and how things fit in. So do we have any volunteers to be on the facade improvement?
I would do that. Yeah, and I'll stay.
Okay, so we have Megan, Julie, and so we'll get some people from staff will from the building inspector and others will be on the committee, and we'll probably help set up the first meeting, and we'll make a public request for applications, and we'll move forward.
Mayor, the only comment that I would make is that I would love to be on, but I think that I may be a conflict of interest for the fact that facades would be requiring sign work. I'm not saying that I'm guaranteed to get it, but I don't want to be in that group that
The perception.
will lousy, yes.
I still own the business, I wouldn't do it either. So.
Could apply for a facade improvement.
I'm good.
This assignment.
All right, so I
Is there a-
guess I will formally appoint Megan and Julie to join town staff on the facade improvement committee, and then we will we'll have town staff help you get started and give you as much guidance as you need.
Great.
Okay. Item 10. Appointment of senior center activity committee. So by way of background, I had a visit from some members of the senior center who were upset about lack of activities and some other issues. And a preliminary analysis showed that there are some areas that can certainly be improved. Also, the senior center is getting ready to submit their budget to the town, and Harvey was reluctant to ask for any funding because he's used to having difficulty receiving extra funding, but his users want more activities. So I've already had Julie and Kim make some preliminary investigations, and they're going to work with Harvey to enhance, increase activities, look at the hours of operation, look at the budget requests. If there's anyone who wants to join them, feel free. I picked them many reasons, one of which is they're available in daytime hours,
Or senior
and
citizens.
they can go over there and keep their eye on the ball easier than most of us.
I think the thing is that we're losing a lot to Prospect, we're losing a lot of seniors. Kim had those stats, I mean, you got 300 from the architect and members
In Prospect. Prospect has 2,000 members. 90% of those members are active.
Yeah.
And 300 of those members are from Naugatuck.
Holy cow.
Whereas Naugatuck has 700 members.
Right.
18% are inactive, that's a big difference.
You're losing.
And
Oh, go ahead.
what we did was we took the newsletter that the senior center puts out, because I want to deal in fact. And put together a calendar of what happens during the week, as well as what announcements are in the Courier, it's called, that's their newsletter. And there are quite a few activities. Every day there's at least 3, 4, 5 activities. But how many people are involved in those activities? How many are repeat customers? Where's that 18% coming from? And what is it that people are looking for that would be popular? Why do they go to Prospect? Why do 300 people go to Prospect when you have a place right down the street?
I have a question, because I know I've seen it in my travels. Does our senior center do transport? Like they pick people up at their homes?
It does. It does. I don't know that they utilize it as well as.
Because Prospect definitely does. and
I know they
That could be a big part
Yeah.
of their,
HRD doesn't
We
do that?
lost buses in the flood
In the flood.
too, so
Right,
they're being replaced, but there is a bus in place now.
right.
We're getting another one. It's definitely an issue.
yeah.
There's,
Right.
I didn't mention all the issues.
Right.
I'll
Well, there
just
used
say
to be
that,
senior center buses and there aren't anymore.
I'll just say that I am not happy with the statistics that I heard, and it definitely needs to be zipped up. And we're gonna start the process with Kim and Julie, working with Harvey, and we will do, what's necessary. Now, remember, we're gonna have a total makeover of the building. The facility needs work, and the activities need work. Now, one of the differences in activities is that some of the people in Naugatuck who are regulars cannot afford a lot of distant trips. So, we have a different clientele. But in my mind, we should appeal to everyone. We should have all levels of activities available.
They don't attract a lot of the active seniors, which is myself, Kim. I have a lot of friends that take art classes.
Believe it or not.
Thank you. But I mean, you've seen the client, I mean, it's a real, it's a big old clientele. And,
Is the facility large enough to bring in more people? I guess that's a question.
well, yeah,
It's not a very large facility.
it's not a hard.
Whatever we do to enhance that
Right.
facility, which we're gonna take the garages and not make it a garage, it's gonna be.
It's gonna be all attached.
Yeah.
Oh,
So it'll be somewhat
Yeah,
there.
so I guess
Yeah.
that's a question, is the
Right.
facility large enough to bring in more people?
More
How
than
big is
current-
our facility compared to Prospect's
Yeah,
facility?
Square footage.
I don't know.
Prospect is big.
What are the hours of operation at that particular building?
Let's just say they're gonna change.
Okay, so I understand.
Well, no, one of the activities,
I had a
guys
feeling you
getting, guys getting together to play poker, you know what I mean, that's.
Yeah,
you
It's not an
can't call
activity
something an
that's-
activity if it's a bunch of people that get together
Right,
and really nobody else would be welcome to join them.
Yeah.
Not because they're not nice,
Yeah.
but that's their activity,
Yeah,
they've been
yeah.
doing it for years.
They're playing a game
Right.
together, yeah.
Well, and I
it's
know
Monday at 10 o'clock, it's card day,
Right.
you know?
I'd like to see more like art
Working in
classes
that
and stuff.
environment and with that clientele, for me every day, I
Right.
know their biggest thing is transportation.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think, number one, I think numbers went down a lot after COVID. People are still afraid, the
Yeah.
older people, to be in large groups. Prospects numbers don't speak to that, but just in general.
But you have to have
Neither do
activities,
Watertowns,
yeah.
neither do Cheshire.
Right.
It can be done.
Yeah, definitely. And I know like the prospect van, it literally is like marketing on the side of their bus that
Yeah.
brings them. So they see it, they know, that'll bring me to the senior center,
But they
you
have
know?
music classes, they have art classes.
For sure.
Stuff that I would do, you know what I mean?
And they don't have to be expensive.
No, and I'm
Those are-
sure there's grants and state programs out there too that'll assist in
Right.
transportation.
But your director really needs to analyze all that stuff. and-
Well, that's.
Do we
do
have
it.
a social worker in the senior center? Like,
They
the,
bring people in periodically. Stokes is a good supporter
yeah,
of the seniors. But, you know, I don't, like I said, I want to deal in facts, because when somebody comes in and complains, you look and it's easy to say, oh, wait a minute, you know, this is right, but you have to look at the numbers, and then beyond that, why are the numbers that way? And then beyond that, what is it that the clientele is looking for?
Yeah.
You know, if they're looking for a bus trip once a month, that's doable.
Yeah.
That can be doable. That can be doable with grants. It can be doable with, you know, private funding at times.
Has
And-
there- has there been a survey taken of the seniors that are part of the group or seniors within the community that aren't even part of it?
Right,
You know?
Right. no, I agree with you.
like a
That-
mailer to go
that's-
out.
right, right.
I talked to a woman this morning, she's an active member of the senior center, she's in our ESL class in the morning. So I kind of pulled her aside for about 20 minutes this morning, and I said, these are the things we're concerned about. And she said, there's not enough activity, she does like an exercise class, she likes to just go there to hang out with some people.
Yeah.
You know, I think it improves her English and improves everything else, but she'd like to see more trips, more activities.
Yeah,
She's very
I know
active,
Christmas tree
you
shop
know.
is gone, but that was always a huge trip for senior centers. Was
Yeah.
the Christmas tree shop that's up in
Yeah,
Manchester.
whatever.
Right.
No,
Not anymore.
no, they're all gone, right? They all
Yeah,
closed.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyhow.
There's other places.
But yeah, like those kind of things were huge. Those
Right.
are
Yeah.
Right.
fun to.
That's
one
too.
Site committee's got their work cut out for them, a survey's probably a great place to start.
Yeah.
And then, you know, as you were saying, it's a data search right now.
That's right.
You gotta collect data
That's
before we
easy
can
enough to put together.
make any big decisions on this, but
You could do that in the plane and when you
Well,
come
when we visit the other senior centers, I'm sure that they've done those surveys, so we don't have to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah,
Right.
So we're making
Yeah, we're
appointments.
Is there Watertown have one?
Watertown does.
Southbury?
Yeah.
Just local, yeah.
We have an appointment to go see Prospect, and we're working on an appointment to go see Watertown, just to have hands-on information.
definitely some kind of survey or target questionnaire to the 300 people from Naugatuck that are choosing to go to another town. There, you wanna pick their mind, why do you feel that
Tell you
your
right
needs
now.
are not being met in your own community? And that's the
They're a
information.
bunch of friends of mine. They go there
The
for art
biggest
classes.
reason is, special trips, you know, like a really
Yeah.
nice Pennsylvania Dutch country or.
that would be
nice
Right.
trip,
Or
regional
vibrant
trips.
classes.
Living
that
water,
are interesting to them.
all those.
Yeah.
Right.
And some of them take, I have a friend that takes piano lessons there, another one takes an art class.
So the other thing too, maybe is the size of the facility.
Yeah.
Could be a deterrent too. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
They're limited by their space.
Yeah, I would say, yeah, it is.
But all
Oh, there's
all the
no
junk
doubt.
that Harvey has in there.
Well, they have their Christmas thing and other things is packed in there.
Right,
Yeah.
and the committee, and what we talked about on the committee is, there has to be a plan for this improvement.
Yeah.
There has to be a plan for getting the place cleaned out, and for
Yeah.
storage should be a part of this. You have money, you know, there should be a plan for that.
Yeah, because our senior population is very large.
Yeah.
It's gonna keep you that big.
Yeah.
I'll let you know when I get that. Hey, you dog you.
Yeah, it's never on the
All
table
right,
here.
so I think what we'll do is, after you make your analysis, we'll meet with Harvey and we'll see where we are and we can report back.
Okay,
Sounds
we
good.
can do that.
All right, item 11, fiscal year 25-26 budget discussion. So,
I think we should do it.
yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
so we're gonna start our process next week. And I'm sure most people here know, but I don't think the public knows, but I think in Naugatuck, we have a unique process that is really the most democratic, best process. We have what everyone says they want, zero-based budgeting. We start every department from scratch. We go through every dollar, every line item, every department at least 5 times. And this is not a budget that's made by the mayor or this group. It's made by the finance board as we go through every department. The Burgesses usually attend quite a bit so they know what's going on. When a proposed budget is crafted, it's then presented to the Burgesses for review, comment, and everyone goes through everything again. Then the joint boards review it, which is the finance board and the Burgesses. We go through it again. Then we have a public hearing, and then we go through it again. So there are plenty of opportunities for anyone to be involved in the process and comment. Now, this year is a interesting year because it's the final year of our 3-year phase. And I'm speaking for myself now, but I hope you're all going to agree with me that we targeted a mill rate that will be under 40 mills for this next coming fiscal year. So I intend to do everything in my power to meet that. And I expect everyone to actively participate, keep their eye on the ball, and work together to hit that target mill rate. So we've started the process with the department heads. Happy with the way it's going so far, but we're gonna, we cut things out before we even, they come. So we go through it very carefully, but it's gonna start next week. I encourage all the Burgesses to come. I'll just note for the public that, it's a public meeting, the workshops are public meeting, people can attend.
Absolutely. Instead of complaining, attend the meeting.
For the
And,
sake of, for the sake
and
of people
remember,
listening.
the department heads are there to take questions, to go back out, to relook at things. So there's a lot of information there. So takes 5 months and we start next week. So I just wanted to put that thought in everyone's head, and I guess I'd like some ratification for the thought that we're gonna
Can
hit our
the,
mill rate.
can the calendar, the workshop calendar be posted on the town website too, maybe?
Sure.
I know I saw Rocky post tonight's meeting on the town
Well,
page.
it should be anyway.
Yeah.
It's a town meeting.
Well, on like one of the town Facebook pages, people were still mad. He
No,
shared,
no, I mean,
he shares the link that they're still
I
mad.
think it already
So-
is, but I mean, if it's not. it
Yeah.
will be.
Yeah. Just for the sake of people that are listening, if we keep it under 40, how much of a reduction is that? What was it last year?
So last year, we reduced 3 mills. No, but there was a bigger increase in the
Right.
grand list.
So revaluation.
This year is less, so it's a 2 mil decrease.
2 mil decrease, okay. Just want to make sure it was said out loud.
Yeah. So we go from 41.75 to 39.75
Whatever,
would
right.
be 2 mils.
Right, gotcha.
Or maybe we can do better. Well, that's
Better's always better.
Part.
Right.
It would be better if it was better. Yeah. We'd be better off.
All right, anyone want to make a comment or thought on that?
Sounds like a plan. They're open, they all can listen to through Zoom too to get information, right?
Yeah,
There's a Zoom link as well, so
Yeah.
you don't have to all physically come.
Yeah.
It might get a little tough in the Commissioner's Corner if everybody from the town comes, but they can listen as well.
The only question I'll have in the Zoom, when you zoom into a finance board meeting,
You can't hear it.
you can't hear unless there's
Yeah.
a microphone at
Yes.
the other end of the table.
That's why the
Right.
Burgesses mostly come in.
It's hard.
Yeah.
It's tough to hear.
It's
Usually it's the presenter that's furthest away from the mic,
Yeah.
that you can't hear what they're saying, so yeah.
So there needs to be a microphone down
We
there.
can change where people speak,
Well,
so, yeah.
Yeah, set up a podium or something.
Can you make the room a little bigger? It'll knock the wall out of the wall.
It might affect that bill target we're looking at that.
Yeah.
Public Works can make that a portable wall.
There you go.
That's how it goes in.
There you go.
Mayor, I think what you said about the openness of it all, and it's really important that people understand it's an open process. And for those who may say that we just rubber stamp whatever people ask for, they can see that every year when the budget comes up, there's a lot trimmed from each department before it even comes to that final meeting when we go public with it. And it's real important that people see the process or know the process. If there's something they are passionate about, that perhaps they should make sure they're chiming in and hearing how the presentation is done and knowing what these departments are asking for. Because really, you can't get more transparent than the process we use in this town. It's very, I encourage everyone to participate.
Okay. Rural Naugatuck development plans. Number one, heaviest work will be completed, this week and next week with underground pipes should be done, before the end of next week on Church Street. And then they will, go toward, sidewalk construction, building, and all of the other amenities, with Church Street being paid in June. I am gonna issue another set of updates. I think I'll do what I did last time. I'll do a detailed one and a shorter version.
It's great.
And make both of them public. And I'll also be reiterating a few points that I think are obvious, but I'll just state them to make sure everyone understands and see if anyone has any questions. But, I think a lot of people don't like or understand the idea of why we're doing 10 years of work in 2 years. So it's certainly not because we want to make anyone's life difficult. In fact, we're doing everything we can to help the businesses. And we've provided a brand new municipal parking lot that can be accessed without going on Church Street. And there's actually more parking spots available downtown during construction than there were prior to construction. Now, people who want to park right in front of wherever they're going, they're not going to be able to do it. And you know what? After Church Street is done, they're not going to be able to do it because there's going to be a lot more people there. The whole point is to make it more vibrant. But a couple things to remember are that, we couldn't start the project until we had the money in place. So we've been working diligently with the state and the federal government to get the money in place to pay for these upgrades without going to the general fund and having it through the mill rate. So We've done very well with the state. We're using our ARPA money in a very smart manner, I think. And it took a long time to get the money in place. Secondly, and I think most importantly, the train station and the new train platform that the state is putting in, and the housing that's going to go on parcel B and parcel A cannot happen without the infrastructure being upgraded. The stormwater has to be diverted away from parcel B and parcel A, and the utilities have to be in place. That means all new water, all new gas, all new electric, all new sanitary sewers, all new fiber, and there's more than one fiber company. There's Frontier, Comcast, Xfinity, whatever. There's a lot of moving parts, a lot of utility coordination, and those have to be done in a 2-year time frame in order to start the construction. So we wouldn't have been able to build those projects if we didn't expedite the timetable, and I don't think people fully appreciate that. Also, under federal law, under our tax incremental financing, and under the grants, we have to spend the money in basically a 2-year period. So it took a lot to get the money. Now we have to spend it quickly. So, that's another factor. And also, who wants to make improvements on Church Street and dig it up every year for the next 5 years? It makes no sense. So as a town, we decided to take on all 5 of our projects, work them together, coordinate them, get them done with the least inconvenience to the business that's possible. And the easiest way to say it is there was no other way to do it. So it's difficult, and we're getting it done. And I think the contractors are doing an excellent job. I would also note that we've got inspection crews out there every day. We have a minimum of 2 full-time inspectors. These are not town people. These are paid professional engineering people working for Kleinfelder Northeast, mostly high-level people inspecting everything to make sure it's right. And we're working with the utility company. So a lot going on every day. Anyone who wants to come to our construction meetings is welcome. We take special requests from businesses. Kevin Gendron from the Creamery is coming to the meeting tomorrow. We're going to plan his grand opening and make sure that everything is in place. We're protecting Terry's Flower Shop on Valentine's Day. So, the contractors work with people to try and make it as good as we can. So there is inconvenience, but the contractors they try to be helpful wherever they can. So we're going to stop there and see if anyone has a question, a comment, a thought. And also, every Thursday morning from around 9 to 11, we meet downtown and we go over the little technical aspects of each aspect of the job and solve problems one at a time. Chairman, do you want to add to that?
Oh, you said you have the inspectors on it every day. I'd just like to add on, those guys are doing a great job. And they're watching every little thing down there. Like Pete said, all the little things every Thursday. We go through everything, each job specific, bring them in. So I mean, we're on top of it. We did, I will add on, because of the lighting issues, there was some issues. We did start some temporary lighting. One went up tonight in the municipal lot, and one down between the little goat and And as the lighting starts to come down, we have additional ones we already acquired, and they're gonna go up to keep the lighting on Church Street during that construction. So 2 went up tonight in the dark areas.
Jim, you good? Okay. Rocky, let's go to item 13.
Motion that the Board of Mayor and Burgesses authorize the mayor has to sign a renewal contract with Sullivan Lashane Incorporated, 287 Capitol Avenue, Hartford, to work with the borough as its registered lobbyist from March 1st, 2025 to February 28th, 2026, in the amount of $40,000.
Second motion.
Okay, so this is a very simple one-page contract that extends our current agreement with Sullivan and Lashane. They are our lobbyists in Hartford. They help us. They're intimately involved in all of our activities, helping us get funding. They track bills for us. If anyone wants a bill tracked, it's up in the legislature. You know, they track them for us. You know, we're tracking a lot on special education and we're tracking a lot on affordable housing and, you know, things that are relevant to Naugatuck are being tracked
The
regularly.
paramedics, I hope.
Or if you send me a bill that you want tracked, we'll track it. And you know, Ryan Bingham, he's a former mayor of Torrington. He's now the owner of Sullivan and Lashane with his partner. They bought out, you know, Sullivan and Lashane, who still remain there, working there. But they're young and eager and progressive and competent and great contacts. And, you know, like they work, we have our state reps that work, I have been working with them. They are, you know, they work for Democrats and Republicans. I say they have more of a Republican, you know, background and history behind their firm, but they work both sides of the aisle very effectively, and they're worth their weight in gold.
Mayor, for the $40,000 we're spending, just so people understand the cost benefit of this, well, how much money are they bringing in to help us, you know?
They help with everything.
So we're talking our major projects that we have got state assistance on, the hundreds of thousands of dollars we're getting back on a $40,000 expense. That's an excellent cost benefit.
Right, Danielle, you want to say something?
Yeah, so I'd like to switch gears a little bit. I'd like to kind of talk about how you guys can see Sullivan and Shane and myself kind of as partners, right? They start the research phase for me, and they do a lot of they deal a lot with the legislative body, and then I do the actual hard technical writing, and then they take my grant applications and they put them to the next level, right? So for instance, we have a CIF application that's in for an extra $1 million for the Naugatuck Industrial Park. Sullivan and Lashane are the people who really set up with state representatives, with anyone else who this needs to go to, and they make sure it gets pushed over to the people it needs to go to. So we work very closely to make those things happen. So any of the state funds that we've gotten since I've been here and since they've been contracted on, it's happened, you know, in tandem with all of us, but especially because of Sullivan and Lashane and myself, you know?
Well, it's a team. We have our development team that includes everyone here and Danielle and some others. We have our legislative delegation. We have Sullivan and Lashane, and we've developed a great relationship with Hartford now. So I have to say I'm thrilled with our relationship with Hartford, and they're very helpful. Any questions or discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We're gonna pass item 14.
Okay.
And we will go to 15. Oh, hold on. Is there an agenda for the retirement board there, Lee?
I have it right here.
Oh, could you hand it to the deputy mayor?
Thank you, dear.
Sure.
Motion that the Board of Mayor and Burgesses recess the retirement board at 8:01 p.m.
Second motion.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? better record. We'll call the regular retirement board meeting to order at 8:01 PM.
Motion that the retirement board accept the minutes of the regular meeting of August 6, 2024 without reading. Each member received a copy for review.
Question? Oh,
No, second motion.
Questions, discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion that the retirement board authorize Controller Allison W. Bruce to pay a monthly pension in the amount of $7,587.43 to Matthew J. De Silva, 211 Spring Street, Naugatuck, for a memo dated January 27th, 2025, from Controller Allison W. Bruce, effective January 2nd, 2025. Years of service have been documented by Controller Bruce. Mr. De Silva was employed by the police department for 20 years, retiring as a training officer.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion?
Sad to lose him, he's a great guy. Great guy.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion that the retirement board meeting be adjourned at 8:03 PM.
Second motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we'll go back to the regular meeting and reconvene it as Rocky said.
8:04.
8:04.
Motion that the Board of Mayor and Burgesses approve the reappointment of Adam M. Bronco, 34 Fairfield Court, Naugatuck, as a regular member of the Board of Assessment Appeals, term to expire February 1st, 2028.
Second motion.
All right, discussion?
I like that guy. Hey, he's all right.
I think his chances are better than ours.
that's on the record.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion that the Board of Mayor and Burgesses approve the reappointment of Remus Balsas, 33 Phoenix Avenue, Naugatuck, as a member of the Water Pollution Control Authority, term to expire February 1st, 2030.
Second motion.
All right, any questions or discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Motion that the Board of Mayor and Burgesses discontinue Water Street in accordance with the Connecticut General Statutes.
Just, let's do this.
Yeah.
Let's, would you withdraw that, please?
I'll withdraw that, please.
All right, so what's going on here is that, let me hand out a couple more of these so you can pass them around. On the, on parcel B, where Water Street is, we are, as we know, conveying, the piece, at the bottom in the center, that's mostly on Water Street, to the state, so they can build a train platform, a train station, and park. So Water Street, which runs through there, even though it hasn't been used in the past 40 years, is technically a town road. So we're gonna discontinue the town road. So Water Street will be a town road on both sides of the state land, but in the middle on the state property, it'll be a state property with state access, not town access. So to do that, there's a statutory process, and I'm gonna change the motion, and this has to be referred to planning for an 8-24 approval before we actually vote. So I'm gonna entertain a motion that we refer to the planning commission the discontinuance of Water Street from the proposed ending of the public road as shown on the map I've handed out, which is a map of Borough of Naugatuck, Lot 6, Water Street, Naugatuck, Connecticut, prepared by MCA, Martinez Couch Associates, from its conception all the way to where it commences again near the, approaching the event center. And that we refer to planning for 8-24 referral. And then it will come back here and we will vote to discontinue the road.
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. I see people looking at the map. Do we have any questions?
Is this contingent on a specific date? Do we need to wait till it gets through planning and zoning, or?
We are with.
Yeah, but I mean, do we need to have a date certain when we convey it, based on the state?
Well, right now, we're not talking about the conveyance.
Okay.
I'll answer your question. This, all we're doing now is saying it's not gonna be a town road, it's gonna be state property.
Gotcha.
We will be conveying it, I'm gonna say, in approximately May, June, somewhere in that area. And there are some things that have to be done before that, and they are being done. And there's a lot of moving parts for that. One of the moving parts is on the agenda tonight, where we're applying for NAUL, which is an environmental land use restriction for an industrial site. So it's a little different from a residential one. So there are some 4 or 5 things that we have to do that we're doing.
Gotcha.
And I will say this, just maybe I should have said it in my development report, but this week, DOT is opening the bids for the construction of the train platform and the train station. And it's on schedule. They will be going out to bid and commencing construction. I'm just going to say on the exact date, but soon. So we have a motion and a second to refer this to planning. Any questions or discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion of the Board of Mayor and Burgesses adopt the following resolution approving the Borough of North's application to the Connecticut Department of Energy and Environmental Protection for a declaration of notice of activity and use limitation, and to authorize the mayor on behalf of the Borough of North to execute the NAUL application as if read.
Second motion.
We have a motion and a second. So this is one of the moving parts I was just talking about. Most properties that you've seen so far, we've done an ELUR, which is an environmental land use restriction. This is a NAUL, a notice of activity and use limitation. This is more of an industrial commercial setting than a residential setting. So there's a different procedure with DEP. So what we're doing is we're authorizing me to take the map that we're sending to planning and some other documents and requesting DEP to issue an NAUL. Questions? Roll call vote. Regis Dallin,
Yes.
Regis Moreno,
Yes.
Regis Bronco.
Yes.
Regis Rosenberg.
Yes.
I vote yes. Deputy Mayor,
Yes.
Regis Smith,
See.
Regis Dombowski,
Yes.
Regis Matthew,
Yes.
Regis Smith.
Yes.
All right, so we have a unanimous call vote. And we will move to item 20.
Motion that the Board of Mayor and Burgesses adopt the following resolution regarding joining the Connecticut Municipal Redevelopment Authority as a member municipality as if read.
All right, motion and a second. So, this is a matter where we earlier this evening that are required, public hearing. But, is, it's a vehicle to help municipalities with transit-oriented development downtown projects. So it just so happens that Naugatuck is very far along in the process. We've done almost all of the prerequisite work to have a TOD project, and we're starting construction. But this provides additional funding opportunities. So by joining this group, we will have the opportunity to apply for, and we'll be the first town in the state to file an application to this new entity for funding to help our transit-oriented development district. It also helps us leverage, it helps Danielle use this to leverage and help us with other funding, and that's nothing but potential benefits. So I guess I'll stop there and see if anyone has a question or a comment. And yeah.
This is flagged by Sullivan and Lachey, so that's kind of what I'm talking about. Sullivan and Lachey sends us stuff, we hop on it and get the rating going and we get some money for this.
Is there an annual fee to be part of this group, or is it free?
It's free. And besides just funding, they provide technical support. So the person in charge of the quasi-public agency, his name's David Corvus. He's a young guy. He's really good at his job, and he's excited to get things going. He's really well versed in transit branch development, and we're, like you said, way ahead of the game. So there's a lot of opportunity here for, you know, especially some of the parking spots downtown.
Has he come to Naugatuck?
Yep, no, we know well, and he came here a few weeks ago, and we've met with him twice already, and we know him, David Forrest. I don't know if you remember, but I'm sure he's come to Naugatuck before and spoken. He was with DECD. He was working in the valley. He has great knowledge of the valley, and he's a very astute man. And I'm glad that the governor appointed him. So do a great job. Before I go to the vote, I will say our first application, we're preparing it now. We're getting ready to file it. Now remember, we're starting phase one now. So we're applying for some additional funding for phase two of Penrose Parcel B. We will also be trying to help Penrose obtain some funding for their project in phase two, and some other miscellaneous things. So this funding can apply not just to the municipality, but to our development partners as well, or for that matter, anyone within a half a mile radius of the train station downtown. So anything in that half mile radius is in the new district. Now remember, this district is smaller than our fifth district, but it still encompasses, a large area around downtown Naugatuck and all of downtown Naugatuck. So it's a great vehicle. It's here at the right time, and we're ready to go. All right. Roll call. Burgess Gallo.
Yes.
Burgess Miranda.
Yes.
Burgess Bronco.
Yes.
Burgess Rosenblatt.
Yes.
I am, yes. Deputy Mayor
Yes.
Burgess Neff.
Yes.
Burgess Gambowski.
Yes.
Burgess Mescue.
See,
Yes. Yes, in Spanish. Burgess Smith.
Yes.
Unanimous vote? No, I think a lot of good things tonight, but this one is something that came at exactly the right moment.
take it.
And, you know, it's related to what we said, Sullivan and Shane, Danielle, our development team, it happened at the right time and glad.
He's working their butts off like crazy to get this done to Jeremy.
So,
21. Motion that the Board of Mayor and Burgess authorize Controller Alice W. Bruce to refund the following tax refunds approved by Tax Collector James Goggin as if read.
any questions or discussion on item 21? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Right, we will now go to our second public comment. Is there anyone in the room or on Zoom that would like to make a public comment? And again, if you're on Zoom, raise your hand, go in the chat box, do something, and we will find you. All right. I'm gonna go. Last call for public comment in the room or on Zoom. Hearing none. We will move to item 23. And we're doing pretty good with our order tonight, so I will go to Burgess Gallery.
I'm pleased to report that a Naugatuck manufacturing company has now been introduced to our high school principal for potential inclusion with our students in the manufacturing program. Perhaps certainly providing visits and so forth, but beyond that, perhaps providing internship and potential apprenticeship opportunities for our students that are interested in these careers. So I'm very pleased not only with the response that we're getting, but with the response that we're getting from the staff at the high school. It's jumping all over it, making sure that it happens, which is very important for our students to be better prepared for various amounts of careers that suit different learning styles. And secondly, as I listened to what we talked about with development tonight, I look at I don't know why, because I'm insane, I guess. I look at the Facebook pages, what's happening in Naugatuck, all of the different ones, and I don't mean to pick on any one. And I see a lot of complaints. I see a lot of very snarky, negative comments, and it's very interesting to me. And I just want to point it out that one of the big things is, we're not what we used to be. We're going to turn into something different, and very negative things are attributed to that. And as I've listened to what we were talking about, it's exactly what we're pining for. People walking around in the downtown, people shopping in the downtown, being able to actually be in your community to do your Christmas shopping, which is what I did many years ago, because I've been a citizen here my whole life. Their complaints do not reveal any understanding of what we're trying to build here. I get that people don't like change, but a lot of what I continue to hear is exactly what people are pining for on these pages. And I think it's important to sing that song every now and then so that people realize that what's happening is exactly what you're complaining about. And we are heading in a very good direction. Trust is not at a premium these days, but you gotta trust a little because good things are happening and they're happening in a good direction. That's my 2 cents.
Well spent, 2 cents.
What did you?
Oh, that sounded like his speech.
Yeah, that was great.
We're both teachers, it happens.
A couple things to report on. First and foremost, congratulations to Naugatuck High School indoor track. For the four-peat, that's 4 years in a row that both the boys and girls team
That
have
more than
won
a
the
chief.
NVL. So that is
Take that, Kansas
amazing.
City.
That is amazing accomplishment and a lot of credit to the hardworking kids and outstanding coaching that they receive. It's a very, very solid program and still literally running strong. I also want to report on the Arts Commission and arts in the area. This last Wednesday, Kelly Zimmerman, who's an alderwoman for Waterbury, reached out to me actually about a month ago about having a Waterbury Arts Collaborative come to Naugatuck and meet with stakeholders in the arts. We met at the library, the Beatty Room last Wednesday. We had people from Prospect, Beacon Falls, Waterbury, Naugatuck, all Naugatuck Arts Commission very well represented there. And it was really a fact-finding mission by the Waterbury Arts Collaborative about how they could maybe formulate plans and long-term plans and designs that would incorporate Naugatuck's needs in arts and culture. So it was a very productive meeting. It was a good starting point and see where we're going to go from there. Also had the pleasure of speaking at the Fair Rent Commission, giving them the update on everything that's going on with our development, in particular on Parcel B, on how it's the affordable housing and how that's going to relate to the long-term concept of what is affordable housing here in Naugatuck and what will be fair rents. So it was good to give them an update. And even though these are people in the know and involved here in town, they were still surprised when they were hearing some of the information that I was sharing with them. And it was all positive surprise. It's a really important thing to understand. And to go along with what Kim said, you know, any man can plant a tree. It's the man who can plant a tree that knows he may never sit in the shade of is the one who's doing great things. We're doing long-term planning here, long-term work that maybe some of us will never see the finished product, but at least we're doing the right thing for all the right reasons for us.
Mike?
I have no comment.
I think mostly the senior center, what was going on. Also, I had my brother come in from I had foot surgery, so he came from Chicago to hang out with me. He just retired as a professor at Notre Dame, and he's involved in Illinois in a housing project. And Kim and I and Christine Warren, who else was there? Mike Kelly, somebody from Adult Ed, a friend of mine from Adult Ed. We listened to this guy who was part of this project. Not sure it's feasible in Naugatuck, but it's something to think about. It's where they basically buy apartment buildings. They get a lot of federal funding coming in. They buy apartment buildings. They try to rent to people that are medium income, not low income, kind of in the middle, that right now can't afford a house. But what they do is they take the money from the rent. They make them be in these apartments for a couple of years. They save half of the rent, and then in 2 years, they have that as a deposit on a house. They have to use it in the town that they're in. And they also have to go through financial counseling and everything else. It's kind of a cool project. I know you have a copy of it. I have copies here, if anybody would like to read about it. And then take another one, yeah. And then I kind of hope to see if we can work around doing this. I have plenty of copies. Charlie. This is just the introduction to it. If you ever pass it down. It's just a piece that my brother wrote as part of it. It's very interesting. It's almost like they take places, let's say like we were talking about like the St. Francis Parish House, where the priests lived. The rectory, that's what I was trying to think of. And almost turn something like that into apartments. But here there's gotta be a lot of federal funding and state funding or whatever involved. But it's kind of a cool program. You know, because people with their commitment to Naugatuck, buying a house in Naugatuck, staying in Naugatuck. and, you know, having the money to do that. So, just something to think about.
Ask the question. The meeting you had, was one of the people there to represent the company that they work for that presently has housing on the site? Or they are
Real estate person? I did have a real estate person there.
but did anybody represent a housing development that's presently involved? Or were they there on their own?
They were there on their own. Yeah.
They were sharing their ideas with us. They're,
Yeah.
they're out in what, Chicago and.
Oh, yeah,
Talked
yeah,
about-
this
yeah.
No, I'm talking about something local, because if they were there to represent the company they work for,
Mhm.
I would strongly oppose it.
Me
Yeah.
too,
Yeah.
me too.
I mean, basically Christine Warren was great there. She had a lot of good questions, good ideas. We had a person on Zoom who was in charge of this project. My brother brought him in. And the guy was wonderful explaining it. The only thing I didn't do, which I should have, is recorded the Zoom. With him talking, I didn't think of that.
Is this a basketball player?
Huh?
Is this a basketball player?
Who?
Basketball.
Oh, God. I'm the athlete in the family. My brother, I'm the only one.
He
that
joined
left.
Notre Dame, he was a mathlete.
I thought you had-
Yeah.
I thought you had-
Psychology
I
professor.
thought you had one brother that was a basketball player.
I can sort of play. I was the only one that led it in high school, though.
He
Just to
played,
let you know.
he played basketball like a psychology
Yeah.
professor.
I could beat the three of them.
Right, right.
No. He just retired 2 years ago.
Good for him.
Yeah. That's it for me.
Go ahead, Megan.
Not much. I do just want to tack on kind of what Kim and Charlie mentioned about the social media stuff. I think that from what I've seen from those of us that do choose to engage a little bit, it has been positive. Just to combat it a little bit. I think the biggest thing that we can do as Burgesses, in my opinion, is just openly support those local businesses. You know, even if it's going to get a coffee and putting a picture of it up and what's happening in Naugatuck. Like, hey, I was able to park in the Ion lot and go get a cup of coffee.
45 whole steps.
Yeah, that's it. Right. And so
Yeah.
just, I think things like that would be really good from us as a group to show that we're, you know, still supporting down there. I think that's the biggest thing. We did a great job of that during COVID, really backing our small businesses. So I think that we kind of need to go back to that mindset a little bit, and seconding the congratulations to the track program. And that is about all I have.
Thank you. My phone was recording everything you said.
Oh, it was that important. I don't want to forget.
Dorothy.
Okay, well, we're now entering into recognition and fundraising season. And so we have, our first is our community showcase, which is coming up at City Hill for the young entrepreneurs on March 22nd at 10 o'clock. So if anyone has time, they can just stop by and see what's going on. 227 is honoring Mayor of the Day, our very own Francis Santana.
Yes.
Is being for the Dominican Mayor of the Day, so 10 o'clock. If it's not snowing, raining, or freezing, you know, if anyone has time, they can just go on down to the town hall. March 12th is the Dibble Awards, honoring Larry Erickson. That'll be held at the Aria. 321 is our ESC Trivia Night. Charlie is our MC. And that'll be at St. Michael's. 322 is the Connecticut Partnership for Children is doing a special event this year. They're doing a prom. So it'll be pretty interesting to attend. That'll be at the Crystal Room. I'm still trying to dig up my prom pictures. 329.
And the dress.
Well, the dress I don't have. Yeah. March 29th is a pocketbook bingo at the, I think it's at the Eagles Club, and that's for the Naugatuck Outreach Partnership. So if you don't have enough pocketbooks, come on down, try to win another one. 429 begins the Exchange Club's Community Champion Banquet at the Crystal Room. So if you haven't gotten your tickets. And 425 is the pocketbook bingo for Jane Doe No More. So that's at least through the first quarter and part of the next quarter. There's a bunch more coming down the pipe, but give it to you in little bites. And that's it.
Thank you. Fran?
I know we had a discussion via email about data centers. And happened to read the Hartford Business Journal, and they had a huge article in here regarding data centers. And actually, there's an operator out of Norwalk called 365 Data Center, and they have a variety of facilities around the United States. And I know you had indicated that electricity cost is extremely crazy for this type of business to run. And they gave an example actually of a location on Long Island, which they're paying 16 cents a kilowatt hour. And he said Connecticut's extremely difficult. It's like 20
cents in Mississippi.
It's 20 cents. But I guess my thing is going to be is that just checking things online. I pulled up something regarding fuel cells. And when exploring use of fuel cells for data centers, considering the following points, they give you 10 points to look at it. I'm just wondering if that's an option. And do we have, I guess the question is going to be, how large of a data center could we possibly put?
I'm going to give you the number.
All right.
A fuel cell, if it's spun to its max, will create 8 megawatts. Now, 8 megawatts is significant. It's not enough for a huge data center, but it's significant. So that's the number.
Yeah, because the way they're talking with the way IA, it's going to be coming forward in the next 3 to 5 years. That it's going to use a chunk more.
The state's going to push it.
So, can you build a fuel cell that will create more megawatts that will be able to handle the future of?
So just remember, the fuel cell needs what?
Yes. That's right.
So there's limitations to how much electricity the substation can generate based on what it has.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm all for it. We're all for it.
Yeah.
It's just, the challenges are not with us, it's with electricity.
You would think that with them trying to encourage this type of business, that there would be some flexibility with Eversource or whoever it may be to try to get involved and provide a lower rate for this specific type of project. I don't know, and I don't know who you talk to even think about things like that. You know, it's not like we want them to give us something for free. It's just we want to bring this type of business into Connecticut, which there's very limited, or if any, and if they are, they're extremely small. I think we have a perfect spot here.
We do.
Just for the fact that we have the lines right there too, which gives us a huge advantage.
If they say AI is going to
it's gonna,
triplicate, if not more, these data centers over time, and you know, you're going to get some big, Midwest area that's got a ton of land that are be able to do it all for cheap price.
my last thing here is that I also saw in here, Transfer Act and PFAS, 2 issues to watch for 2025. And I know this was an article written by Gary O'Connor, who is one of the authors of this.
So, when it sits here in the Hartford Business Journal, I'll point out 2 things of interest that came up today. David Forrest, the guy we're talking about, pretty sure it is, right? So, it's just, yeah, that's David Torres right there.
Okay,
So this is the guy I was just talking
Yeah.
about. And that's one of our other, also votes to us in all of our applications. Lincoln Panachi from USA. And there's another one. When I looked at it, it was like 4 of our allies up from Hartford were in this edition of the Hartford Business Journal.
any discussion regarding the, property over on the old Lewis Engineering? It looks like they cleaned that up pretty good over there. Is that an executive session issue or?
Well, it's, no, it's
Okay.
private property.
Yeah.
I know what I think, I'll say it publicly, I think I've said it publicly before. I would like to see student housing there, in other words, Waterbury College students living there would be a lot of extra people, you know, in downtown who would maybe rather live in Architect of Waterbury and go to school in Waterbury. Now, I told that to the owner of the property. Now, remember, it's up to him what he does. So,
Right.
but I put the idea in his head. I also put it in Frank Montero's head, who's in charge of Post.
Yeah.
And Post is expanding now.
Yeah.
They got bought out by a Chilean outfit, and they want to, I think, triple or quadruple the number of students living here versus online. And that type of expansion would be perfect for a student house. So that's what I think.
What is the property, dirty or clean? That's the question. That's the $1 million question. Or $3 million.
That's not our problem. Now, I will say this, if he's got a problem, he could come to Nordic Valley Cog and we could maybe help. But, you know, he's the developer, so the ball's in his court.
Over here, see that, is that executive session over here too? I see they got a huge hole over there. They've
Yeah,
done,
that's an executive
Okay.
session. If you want to ask a question.
no, I see they got a nice beautiful hole over here.
Yeah.
It looks like there was some concrete and stuff in there.
There's a lot
And
of
they
stuff.
had a huge pile, which they did some work to that pile. So did they dig out contaminated stuff?
No.
Like
Well,
it too technical?
no, I'm gonna keep it as simple as.
Okay,
The contaminated stuff, PCBs.
Yeah.
That has to be taken out, has pretty much already been taken out. The soil that's there is not suitable for a building to sit on, because there's like wood in there.
yeah.
So the wood's organic, so what they're doing is, they're sifting out the wood, the organics, things of that nature, processing it, and then putting it back in. And that is, money that we got a Brownsfield grant on, 1.375 million to prepare that site for development.
Almost.
This is not starting fires tonight,
I know.
Anything else, Bob?
not
No.
burning anything.
But I extended myself for some.
Glad you're reading the Hartford Business.
Yeah.
Rocky?
Just one thing. Zoom is the best thing that ever happened. It always helps me a lot because I like to listen in on a lot of meetings and see what's going on. And it allows me to do that while having to run all over town. And plus it gives people the opportunity to listen in on meetings. Because there's an awful lot of questions out there. There's an awful lot of false information out there. And I just wish there was more people. I mean, look who's in here. There should be 30 people in here, from what I read and what I saw, that should be asking questions because they're concerned about things. So I'm kind of sad that people don't do this
30?
more.
That's generous.
Well, yeah, I know.
Times
I know.
10.
People are busy, but, you
100.
know, I'm sad that more people aren't trying to get informed and try and get good information. on what's going on. Along with that, Zoom meetings, some of the town departments tend to start the Zoom meeting at 7 o'clock if the meeting starts at 7 o'clock. I kind of hope they would consider starting it at 5 of 7 or sometime before, because sometimes you get in and you get dropped,
I mean, the Zoom.
the Zoom,
Yeah.
and then you get dropped. And by the time you get in, you've lost the first 5 minutes of the meeting. So, there's a number of departments that do that, just right on the money. So I'm just, would like to see if maybe you could ask the departments, the people that do the Zoom, to just start 5 minutes early, 10 minutes early, what's the difference?
This place used to be packed years ago.
Yeah.
I would say half of the people that used to be here are all dead,
Yeah, that's true.
so.
And some of us are questionable.
That's true.
You're right.
I know.
But they're here, and you just can't see them.
And some of them, we're now finding a way to bring them back.
That's all I have.
We're trying to get them into the senior center activities.
Yeah,
I know.
come to a Burgess meeting.
I'll keep wearing my scrubs, just look around at my job security.
All right, 24.
Motion to recess to executive session at 8:43 for discussion on the following. Real estate parcels A, B, C, Y, and Z, Novatech Industrial Park, Section 3, Hershey Property, 66 Church, 791 Andrew Mountain Road, right of first refusal, water development, open space land, Tarpon Towers LLC, collective bargaining, police union, upsuit, and pending litigation. Inviting in, anyone?
Second motion.
Let's see it.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Under those hats.
Yeah, that's what I said, that's what I just said to Megan.
Great idea.
That-
9:35?
All right, reconvene the regular meeting at 9:35 PM. And coming out of the executive session, we have 3 items. And I will, entertain a motion that I be authorized to enter into a right of first refusal agreement for a 3.5 acre parcel of land owned by the borough of Naugatuck, leased to Sunset Farm, where they would have the right to acquire the parcel, or at least have an opportunity to buy it if we intend to sell it. I would also note that, as far as I know, we have no and don't expect to ever have an intention to sell it, but none of us are here forever.
So moved.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. I will entertain a motion that the borough of Naugatuck accept a conveyance of land from Morgan Development on a 2.33 acre piece of land off Bear Paw Road, that we accepted in lieu of taxes.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Have you ever been on that property?
No. Well, we were gonna go up there, but it snowed, so, oh,
Okay.
I saw a picture of it.
The extension for the.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Look what you did.
I would also entertain a motion that I be authorized to enter into 2 land lease agreements with Tarpon Towers 3 LLC for 10,000 square feet of land each parcel, one being off New Haven Road, the former Maddie's paving site, the other being rural-owned property behind the police station, near our new animal control center, at the top of the hill.
So moved.
I'll just say, as discussed in executive session, I'll add to the motion.
Wonderful. It's a good addition. So moved.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We will now proceed to item 26.
Motion to adjourn at 9:39.
Second the motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Boss is good.